Hi, my name is Brooke Lipman,
And I'm Dr. Deb Lipman,
and this is Wine Together,
a podcast where we drink some wine and have a chat.
So sit back, relax, and get that corkscrew ready.
Something. Yeah. So, full disclosure again, I'm still alcohol free for until this doctor tells me different. So, one doctor, my cardiologist, said, drink more wine. You need to be drinking wine and enjoying your e-bike and going all about yourself and just enjoying life. And then 1 week later, another doctor said, no alcohol. So it's just, we're going to have to figure this thing out because obviously I don't want to do this. Always drinking alcohol-free wine or
Why?
alcohol-free beers. Just,
I
I like to drink wine.
Okay.
I like to drink wine. This wine, this non-alcoholic wine, is more sugary and 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 of course I just I like to get a little buzz.
Okay.
I mean, that's me. I don't want to lie about it.
Okay.
But yeah, this one, like I drank half a glass of this Saturday, and then I was like, oh my gosh, sick like I used to get sick when I ate too much sugar.
Yeah.
And it was just half a glass. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, I don't get too sick on my stomach today.
I know. I mean, I get sick on my stomach when I eat too much sugar. Like when I had that Moscato a couple of months ago, and I had one glass for the episode, and I immediately was in the bathroom for like 20 minutes.
You can do it now. I love, you have a Sauvignon Blanc. I love Sauvignon Blanc. And again, because the high alcohol content in Sauvignon Blanc. This is, I want to read the notes that I took from this, and I want to read directly from it because some of them were just cute and hilarious. So hold your glass up because it says it has a clear, lemon yellow color, which kind of does, yeah. It has a seductive nose of exotic fruit and starred anise with hints of green grass. Do you smell green grass?
I don't know if I smell it because you said that or if I smell it because it does smell like that.
Yeah. So it says it's a full-bodied, elegant, and fresh on the palate with harmonious acidity. A very fine Sauvignon Blanc. So there you go. That's what you have. And then there's other notes that we'll add to the Instagram post about it.
Theoretically, that's what I have.
Yeah, that's what you have. You have Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, but I mean that's the specific Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah. Well, all the ones around here, at least, I think, are from the same region in France. So, and I guess just because the label looks different than the label that, I kind of looked up from the Cope thing online. I just thought it was good. But anyway, so yeah, you'll read more on the Instagram post that comes out, usually drops on a Thursday. So there'll be more, different things you can pair it with. We'll start leaving that in the notes because I thought that was good. It was something good to figure out because a lot of things that it says it's good with, are foods that I like. So, But mine's not really a Sauvignon Blanc. It's just it's non-alcoholic white wine. That's all it is. And it's so funny because the label doesn't say that there's added sugars, but boy, it just tastes like there's added sugars, and it does roll around my glass though. sort of, I guess it's more like soda.
Okay.
It's a
Or
furry
like,
soda.
like the sparkling ciders that you get.
Yeah, in the U.S., yeah, we would call this a sparkling cider. But here they just call it non-alcoholic wine. It's just kind of funny. It's not, but it's the same thing. So, it would be kind of like, yeah, I know a lot of my friends in the U.S. when y'all were younger, we would get our champagne or prosecco on New Year's Eve, but we always bought, the sparkling ciders for the kids. And so I know lots of my friends did that, and so so I know you experienced that. And so we didn't really kind of have anything in particular to talk about today, but I think that we could just tell them some of the fun things we've done this week. Because I bought a new orchid. So I've been getting orchids when they're on clearance because in my first experience with an orchid, I did not know enough about it, I guess, and so I was not able to care for it. And so I didn't want to play with orchids again. I didn't want to have anything to do with orchids again because I felt like, they're too delicate for me. But then we found the one for our neighbor. Our neighbor had surgery, and we love her and her puppy. Oh, okay, sorry.
If you have a microphone, theoretically you want to talk to the microphone.
Well, okay. And so we got an orchid. They had a lot of orchids on clearance at this store, and so we got one for our neighbor because she was just coming out of the hospital and rehab. And I thought, well, I'm going to get myself one too. And it has done so well. There's even new growth and new flowers on it. And then so yesterday we were at the store, and the orchids are on 75% off again. So I got another one, and I fed it last night. And as the train was riding by today, I could see it from the train. And I said, oh, it's so pretty. So now I just want to line that window with orchids, but I know I can't do that. So, but yeah, I'm very happy with it. I really love the white one, so it's pretty. And they're tall so that you can see it from the train. So, but anyway, also you've got some flowers growing outside.
Yes.
We talked about these before. We kind of told everybody we were going to plant them. So
they haven't like bloomed or anything. They're so green.
They're still way down in there, and I wonder if we put too many seeds in there.
Oh, probably, but I think they'll be okay.
Okay, and so hopefully, I don't know. I hope that whatever's. I just hope that they come up because they're almost like the gladiolas, and they're very tall, and like the tall irises and gladiolas, and so I really am excited to see them come up, but it might take a little while. And I'm not sure if the ones you planted they come back year after year on their own. I kind of hope that they do.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. But we've picked up quite a few other plants this week. I got me another little ivy because our sugar bowl, the lid broke. It fell. And so I thought, well, I want to put something in the sugar bowl. Found that little ivy yesterday. It was kind of fun. So put that in there. So, we've been doing a lot of gardening.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you tried the pepperoncinos from that plant out there.
I have not.
They're so hot. Oh, I mean, they're hot. I put 2 on the grill to add to my stuff on Saturday, and I didn't even finish one. So they're hot. And I've got a friend that your dad works with that likes hot peppers, and so I told your dad, I said, you need to ask him if he'll take some of these.
Okay.
And speaking of, I've said I was going to do this shout out, I don't know, 2 months ago. Didn't do it. But Caroline, we appreciate you listening, and so I really hope that you hear this one. I'll have to make sure I get word to you that today was the day we finally remembered the shout out. So yeah, leave us a message on our social media or even in the comments on YouTube
and comments on Spotify. You can
comments on Spotify, and
you can also answer our polls on Spotify.
Oh, that would be nice. Okay, so we have some polls. Okay, good.
A couple episodes. I can't remember. I think 2. I think it's only on Football Friday episodes.
Oh, which is fine. That probably makes more sense because that makes more sense. So sorry about that. I told myself I was not going to let that happen today. But anyway, yeah, please leave messages. We'll shout out to you if you have questions. So this is it's finally starting to warm up here. I mean, I'm still cold.
Yeah, I was
It was
chilly
cold
today.
today. It was cold.
I think it's because it's been cloudy. Like normally with like 18, when it's sunny, it's actually kind of warm.
Mm-hmm.
But like this weather, it's been cloudy, so it's
It has.
cold.
But we're seeing beautiful, beautiful, beautiful signs of a great weekend.
I know.
This weekend, so that'll be kind of fun. Yeah, the plan is to get ready for, but this is kind of our rainy season also. Mm-hmm. So it stays cold when it's rainy here. Mm-hmm. It's so bizarre. Which means there's still snow in the mountains. During our rainy season here in the valley, the mountains are still getting snow. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of exciting if we decide to take a trip.
When this episode comes out, it'll be June 1st.
Oh, which is Swiss Father's Day.
Yeah.
June 1st, Swiss Father's Day. Well, first Sunday in June, sorry. But it just happens this year to fall on June 1st. Mm-hmm. Sort of like last year, Easter fell on Trans Visibility Day. It was not, intentionally there to upset people. It just happened to be on the same day.
This year, Easter fell on 4/20,
So you see, Easter can fall on any day, and so what? It has nothing to do with anybody. But for those, I'm going to say big shout out to our trans family members and trans friends out there. We see you, we hear you, we love you. I think that it's important that everybody feel seen and heard and cared for and respected. I respect anybody who kind of lives their best life. And, it's hard to be authentic. It's really hard to be an authentic person. And, I have to say, one thing that is so weird here, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's so to be an American, to move to Switzerland, let me tell you one of the hardest things for me. I grew up, I was taught, if you notice something nice about somebody, you tell them. Well, people here think you're out to get them if you notice something different about them. I'll never forget the first time, okay, so we had gone to the Copenhagen, and our very first experience there was the man telling us the number of the bananas. 100! He was trying to tell us that it was 100. And he didn't do it in like a American way. He didn't come up and say, oh, the number for that is 100. No. He just stood there with this look on his face, and I'm telling you, this is it. 100! 100! And he was telling us, hurry up, put 100 in there, get your sticker, because I need to use that balance. And I panicked. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Oh my God, it was me, you, and Ren. We were in a store. I was just like, what? And anyway, Ren said, oh, it's 100. So anyway, then it was funny because we went through the line and got everything paid for. And then the next time we went through the line, it was the same lady working in the cash register. And I, at that time, was not kind of skilled enough and confident enough to go through the self-check at that time. So I was still going through the line where the lady rings up all the groceries. And she had gotten a haircut. And I looked up quickly on Google Translate how to say, oh, you have a nice haircut. It looks nice. And she looked at me like, what the fuck? Yeah. What is wrong with you? And she looked at me, and then, you know what? I swear, I think she quit the store. I've not seen her since. 6 years. I know it don't mean anything. Poor thing, any bad thing could have happened. I hope nothing bad happened. But anyway, I haven't seen her since. Another time, Mason was visiting, and we had gone to the Cope at the train station. And I had met this girl that works at the Cope in the train station, and her name was Kareem.
Okay.
And then she happened to be working one time when Mason was with me, and I was so excited to introduce her to my son. I said, this is my son. And that's what Mason. And then you know what? The next time I went in Cope, she was not working, and I've not seen her since.
Sorry.
I know this is weird, But people don't like for you to kind of notice differences. So anyway, long story to get to what happened today. So I was at a conference today, and I came home with a bag full of swag. Let me tell you, 2 bags full. But at one of the spots, the spot where I got the socks, there was this lady talking to us about everything, and she had these huge turquoise earrings on, and they were just stunning with the outfit that she had on and with the color of her skin and her hair color. I couldn't take my eyes off the earrings because they would bounce around as she was talking, because she would talk like me, you know, moving her head and stuff. And so when she was finally finished, I said, "Your earrings are stunning." And then I looked at the lady beside her, because the lady beside her had this light blue hair with this gold and orange dress and this huge orange necklace and a dark purple belt. And I mean, she looked so good. And I said, "And your whole look is stunning." And she just looked at me and laughed. Fortunately, these girls were from England. So they're kind of used to the American you better. Anyway, needless to say, they filled my bag up. A journal, socks, pens. Yeah, they filled it. It was kind of funny, but I mean, I had gotten so used to, for 6 years, I haven't been able to compliment somebody because they take it the wrong way. And finally today, I said, "You know what? I'm going to go there. I'm going to be myself, because I'm tired of feeling bad about myself." Because here you can't compliment people. They don't take it the right way. They really think that you're out to get them.
Yeah, but like, why do you need to compliment people to feel good about yourself?
It just makes me feel good.
Okay.
To be nice. To me, I feel like that's me being nice.
Yeah, but you can be nice in other ways without, like...
I understand that, but that's just...
Okay. Some people just struggle with taking compliments. I think it's just, you know...
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I kind of do. But I think that, you know, one... I don't necessarily have... I try to be nice, but anyway, all I'm saying is I was not going to care to... Of course, it was probably 98% men at those booths, very few women. So anytime I got a chance to talk to them, I made contacts and, you know, exchanged emails with some of the women there, you know, because, you know, I don't know. I think build a strong network of caring and respectful women, and you're in a good place in life. Just so, but I had a lot of fun. Okay. It was kind of weird because it's not really my thing, you know, technology over my head, but I learned a lot, and you know, I agreed with a lot of what, you know, people were saying. I certainly believe in streamlining things, and it seems like a lot of technology today is all about the streamline process. I know we thought we had already kind of conquered streamlining, but guess what? We haven't, because there's always a supply chain. There's always different departments, and it just seems like we still haven't gotten everything streamlined in. But a lot of, and so, you know, I think there was a lot of AI information out there today, so interesting. But let's see, what else have we got to do around here in Zolota? I mean, well, not necessarily all the time, but Switzerland this late spring.
I don't know.
I did see something about a wine tasting in July. I need to find out more about that. But unfortunately, it was on this bike path it was on a bike path that it was unfortunately on gravel, so I don't want to have to ride that path again, but I know I'm probably going to have to. So I don't know exactly where it was at, so I'm going to have to hopefully look it up and figure something out. But it's definitely, maybe we should do a hike around some of the vineyards in Neuchâtel. How would you feel about hiking? Just a little.
I like hiking. I don't know why you guys come up with the idea that I don't like hiking and going outside. You guys get an idea in your head and then you impose it on other people when it's not true.
Okay.
Like you and Dad tend to like impose these ideas that you get. Like it was something the other day that you were like, oh, it was something about vegetable. Oh, yes, every time I don't like the veggies on the grill. And somehow in you guys' brains that has come up to, Brooke doesn't like vegetables.
Nope. That's not what I've never said you don't like veggies.
No, yes, you did. You said that the other day.
I said you don't like the cooked ones. I told him you didn't like the cooked ones.
You didn't say that when you were talking to me about it. You didn't say anything about cooked.
I know you don't like the cooked ones on the grill.
You just said vegetables, and it was like, where do you get this idea?
Which, by the way,
Dad acts like I don't like vegetables.
I need you to add to the grocery list. I need a red pepper because I don't think the ones on the little vine are going to be big enough for my potato salad this weekend.
But yeah, no, like I don't know where in Dad's head it got to. I don't like vegetables because I think thinks I don't like vegetables. There are certain.
Well, there are some vegetables I don't like.
Yeah, there's some vegetables I don't like, and this is. I also was saying this about the broccoli, where it's like every time. So any vegetable, like, you know, maybe someone doesn't like a certain vegetable. If someone says, oh, I don't like onions, people are like, okay, whatever. Oh, I don't like tomatoes. Okay, whatever. They don't think, oh, you don't like any. But if you tell someone you don't like broccoli or cauliflower, they act like you've never eaten a vegetable in your entire life.
And the other day at the Greek restaurant, they were going to give us spring vegetables, and what was in the medley?
Only broccoli and cauliflower and like 3 carrots.
Yeah. Well, like my salad yesterday had 1 tomato. It wasn't even a whole tomato. It was a split tomato, and it was just one of those little tiny cherry tomatoes, and it was cut in half. And it was well, maybe it was a quarter, yeah. That was the only tomato on my salad. What?
They also didn't give me the right thing either, so.
I think we made that poor little lady nervous. She was an older lady, and it was just so much. At first, I thought she was like surprised that you were ordering a beer. I'm not sure.
I thought that was it too.
I think that's kind of what it was. She was like, what?
Yeah. I thought it was at
first. I was like, beer.
Okay, because I said it, and then I thought she was like, oh, like in her head, it was like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. You're ordering a beer. Like it's lunchtime. It was like 11:45.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but you know, they get people that are still going back to work, I guess, a lot of time. But you know,
I mean, it makes sense because of like where it is.
We were at a work meeting, so you know, we're allowed. But you know, that was funny. And I had meant to bring my own water. Yeah. And then, so I had to buy a bottle of water for $3.50.
For the whole thing, that was not.
I thought that because we both ate. I mean, I was completely satisfied with that salad. I mean, I'm glad we had the little walk after. Yeah. Because, I was completely satisfied. And, the price, even with the $3.50 for a bottle of water, it was still a good price. It was less than 40 francs. It's 2 people to eat.
Yeah. I wonder if my beer was cheaper than your water.
Probably. Probably. So the beer usually is cheaper than the water. So that is a thing. Beer is, normally cheaper than the water. Which is kind of fun. It is what it is. But, I said, let's see, I know we've got to go to the store. Mm-hmm. I know Dad's wanting to get another one of the drying racks for the clothes. Yeah. I just think it's the funniest thing. I still like certain clothes. I definitely hang up a lot of my clothes to dry, but I just hang them around wherever.
I just don't have the space for that because if I don't have them in my room, I will forget about them. Like if they're I get that. Okay. If they're not all in the same space, I will never put them away. Like
that was frustrating.
Because one time I had something laying out to dry in the office and it took me a week to put it away because I forgot about it.
Yeah, I think I have 2 things still in the office hanging up to dry from yesterday that I forgot to get, but I'll get them today. So, it's kind of funny.
I miss the one I had in college because it was more vertical than horizontal, and it had a little more space on it. Oh,
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to picture a vertical clothes drying rack. It's hard for me to imagine that. Okay.
I'm sure you've seen it before. I've definitely sent you a picture of it.
Okay. I just don't remember. I know there's a couple of things, a couple of places I want to go. I'm hoping we can do a day trip soon. But I don't know where you want to go.
I don't know.
You've not been to Bellinzona, have you?
Yes, I have.
You have been to Bellinzona?
I think so.
The castle ruins?
No, maybe it was Lugano that we went
You, Amelia, and your dad went to Lugano. It's not far from Lugano.
Yeah.
But we discovered Bellinzona. We took an anniversary trip to Locarno, which is near Lugano, and Ascana. You've seen something about Ascana because you mentioned it.
Well,
they have inexpensive hotel
why
rooms.
I mentioned it was because Rudolph Laban had his dance studio.
That's right.
In Ascana.
That's what it was. Yes, absolutely. So you can, if you want to stay at a nice place in Switzerland, but now people are starting to learn about it. Ascana is not far from Lugano and Locarno, and so those two places, get kind of expensive. But Ascana is not far. It's just right around, not far down the river or down the lake from those two. And, the rooms are kind of inexpensive. And it's still got beautiful cafes, a great place to walk, museums and things to visit. So, it's kind of a little less expensive than those other places. Well, we visited Ascana when we stayed in Locarno. But then we also visited Bellinzona. And I don't know, I think we were just riding and we decided to get off the train because we thought, let's just get off here. Mm-hmm. And so we were walking through the little town, and I was wanting to stop at like a cafe and get some coffee or tea. Your dad was like, no, just don't walk around. I don't want to stop. I don't want to buy anything. Anyway, so we didn't, and we walked, and then we saw this wall. And I thought, well, that might be interesting. And turns out it is a huge curtain wall, and there are 3 castle ruins there. And we only went in the big one, but there's 2 others that are a little further walk away that we didn't get to because we kind of discovered this at the end of the day, and we still spent an hour and a half walking around and didn't see everything, even though we spent that much time there. It is absolutely stunning, and we got some of the best photos. And that was a great find, and something we weren't expecting on that trip. So I think Bellinzona is definitely a place everyone should go. If you like that kind of thing. I mean, you might not like walking. There is an elevator up to the top of that one, and the only reason I was going to take your grandma and grandpa, because I had plans to take them to Bellinzona when they were here, and we didn't get to go. But the reason I chose Bellinzona for one reason is because there is definitely an elevator, so they wouldn't have to walk all that way because it's pretty high up. It's a pretty good hill to climb. But I like climbing hills, so I kind of miss hill walking. I'm ready to get back to being able to walk. Yeah, I mean, it's weird that I can ride my bike and not have the pain that I have when I just walk to the bus stop. So it's just so bizarre.
I have that issue where I've been able to walk and all that. I can't go on a run.
Yeah.
Or I can do my core workout and stuff and be fine, but I can't go on a run with for more than 10 seconds without
the cough. Yeah. And I remember, in fact, this is so terrible. We were just getting back to running. Your dad and I. We were getting up early in the mornings, and it was end of March 2020. We had started running together in the mornings. And we'd been running about 3-4 weeks. And got up one morning and, we got maybe to the river and turned right, to go down through the forest. I was like, I can't breathe.
Well,
and your dad's like, well, let's do this. And so we jogged a little, we walked a little, jogged a little, walked a little. It's like, man. And then I got home, and I seriously just laid down. I was like, I can't do it. And it was my first bout of COVID before they had COVID tests. We couldn't test for it. And it was funny because, if you call the hospital or the doctor, they'd say, if it's these symptoms, stay away. And my biggest issue was I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I could not find a comfortable position to breathe. And I was still, I guess I shouldn't say having to get up and cook lunch for certain people, but they weren't cooking it for themselves, Brooke, and you know who.
Sorry, I was 17.
I know, and so I would get up, and then there was one day that I cooked mac and cheese. I was kind of craving that mac and cheese, and I couldn't taste it. And that's when I knew, oh my God, no wonder, this is the reason I can't breathe. I have COVID. So, you know, then I did quit cooking. I just stayed in the bath. I stayed in my room until I felt better, which, you know, took a while. And it was so funny because I'd just been given a new dissertation chair, and I had a meeting with her, and I said, I'm not turning my camera on. I really know, I really want to meet you. I said, but I have COVID right now. I said, so anyway, we can postpone this for 2 weeks. And it was so nice because my methodologist was on that call. And so my dissertation chair, my methodologist both said, yes, let's postpone this. I mean, it's almost like they knew they couldn't get it over the screen because we were on Zoom. But they both were just like, yeah, we're going to postpone this for 2 weeks. We're going to meet you for the first time in a few weeks. And so we did meet, and then, you know, they helped me get my dissertation written and defended, and they were fantastic, that great dream team that I had. But, yeah, you know, so I know you think it's not COVID, and I really don't.
Tested.
I know we tested. We've all three tested for COVID in the past, I'd say the past 4 or 5 weeks, and we've all had something, and it's not coming up as COVID. And like I said, I can't breathe to even walk. The cough has been going on for over 3 weeks. But it's more than a cough, because when you try to go run, you can't breathe.
Yeah.
So it's more than that.
Yeah, but I also have problems with like running and trying, like I couldn't continuously run for more than 5 minutes.
Well, how's that anti-allergy medicine doing? Is it helping at all?
I've taken it for 2 days.
I know, I'm just checking.
No. In fact, actually, my cough was worse last night than this morning.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but, you know, you try to eliminate things, right? When you're going through something like this, and you know, yeah, your dad's got something going on. I've got something going on. I don't know.
I'm trying not to do the cough drops, because when I do like take too many cough drops, one, it makes me sick, and also it's just they have a lot of sugar. And if I I do the cough drops for a while, if I have a long cough, it's harder to stop taking the cough drops like as like candy after I stop. Because, and like, this is something I've always had a problem with, because people are always like, oh, they're just cough drops, like they're not, no, they are drugs. Like, yeah, these are like
it's sugar.
Well, that, but like the Ricolas are just herbs, but a lot of cough drops in the U.S. are like drugs.
Yeah.
They have like drugs and stuff like for your
There's
cough.
a chemical in them.
Yeah. And so like you can get addicted to cough drops.
I mean, you know, I guess technically, you can almost get addicted to anything.
From them, but
you know what I'm saying? You can get, if we follow the rules of what addiction is, almost anything could, you know, kind of be a vice for people.
But yeah, I mean, like,
And it's so funny because I just want to tell you my reaction, and you can testify to this. So 2 weeks ago, when the doctor said, no more alcohol, and I was like, starting to question, well, for how long? What do you mean? You know, I honestly sounded like a toddler. You're taking this away from me? It was just really a ridiculous reaction that I had to it. And then as I started thinking about that, really reflecting on how I reacted to him saying that to me, I thought, well, I mean, am I addicted? You know, I definitely thought, you know, I would see signs of it if I were. And I was thankful. That's not been a problem for me. He said, no alcohol. I'm not drinking alcohol. It was just, you know, kind of mad because I just bought a new bottle of scotch like the day before. And so, you know, yeah. But you know, I enjoy our times of, you know, I like to drink with your dad. I like to drink with you and with the others. But still, I mean, you know, honestly, if it's going to kill me, I would stop. But I don't think it's going to kill me. I just wish they'd figure out what is wrong so that we could kind of move on.
Alcohol is also a carcinogen. So, I mean, recent studies, like they've shown alcohol has been linked to higher cases of cancer and all
What
that.
kinds of cancers do you know?
I did not read the full thing, so no.
I'm kind of curious as to what cancers.
I would assume like colon cancer, liver cancer.
Yeah, I can see, because it is metabolized through your liver, so I can get that. But here's my thing: is for 2 years in a row, I've done the blood work. I'm sorry.
Sorry, pancreatic cancer. That one
Oh,
came to my
maybe
brain
I
after.
have. I've done all the blood. I mean, I've gotten a physical, for the past few years, and every time they say, "Oh, your liver's healthy. Oh, your heart is healthy." Okay, so I know this stuff. My liver's healthy, my heart is healthy. Why am I in pain? I mean, I cannot walk. I cannot breathe. So I want to figure that out. And then if my heart and my liver are healthy, why can't I have a glass of wine? So I'm confused by it. So I don't know. Figure it out one way or another. Um, but I'm going to lie to you next week. I'm not drinking this sweet stuff. I can't do it. I'm gonna have to drink water. But
cranberry juice.
I do have some cranberry juice. So I'll fool you guys. Pretend I'm drinking red wine. Drink my cranberry juice. I think that my biggest one reason I reacted the way I did was because I didn't have anything else. I'm not working outside of the home. This is, kind of what we're pouring our heart and soul into right now. And so, to take that away from me, I think the very, very, very first thing when he said no alcohol, my very first thing was, I'm not going to be able to do the podcast. And I really thought that. I really thought, oh my God, he's trying to take everything away from me, it was a silly overreaction. I really feel kind of, like a toddler, but like I said, and not your dad said, well, you don't like it when people tell you what to do and what not to do. It's hard to take that. And so in my first, I mean, I justified everything. Well, the cardiologist said drink more red wine, and and your dad had just bought me 2 bottles of Chianti, which I'm trying to let you. I'm trying not to let you open those because I love the Chiantis, and so, but I've been doing good with the no dessert, no eggs. Let's see, can't have grapefruit, can't have eggs, can't have sugars and desserts. I can't added sugars. So a lot of the juices are off limits because they told me no juice. And so, I can't have caffeine. So, it's kind of it's restricting me. And it's kind of weird. But I am allowed to go ride my bike. And so I've done that for the past few weeks. We're getting you a bike set up.
Yeah.
I hope you're going to like it because it's so cute.
I just don't like riding my bike.
I just want you to be able to. I used to hate mine too. I did used to hate to ride a bike. But this is the only form of exercise I can do right now. But I just want you to be able to ride it to the store if you wanted to. And stuff like that. And, if you were ever in a situation where you had to get home, you could rent a bike kind of thing. I want you to have that kind of confidence to know, well, I can always get on a bike. And that's how I feel right now as well. I can always get on a bike because that's where I'm at. And that's why I want you to kind of get back on the bicycle. But, I don't know anything else. But, yeah, oh gosh, I'm just trying to think of. I think another thing that bothered me was the Half a Bar had just opened, and I was like, can't go to Half a Bar.
They have like non-alcoholic drinks, I think.
Do they have mocktails?
I think.
But they're probably too much sugar. Yeah. Again, the mocktails have the sugar.
They might have non-alcoholic beers though.
Yes, and I will say, so when we did the slow up soul tour, and that was like 50 kilometers on the bike ride. That's a problem because I had never in my whole life, even as a kid, never rode that far. And so we got home and I thought, oh, this is the kind of tired I like to have a shower beer with. or to take a bath and have a glass of wine with.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of tired I was, where I wanted to get in the bathtub with a glass of wine, and I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so your dad said, "Oh no, you've got that non-alcoholic beer in there." So I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll have a shower beer."
Yeah.
And I would drink the non-alcoholic beer, and I did, and that was great. I really enjoyed that. And I know I have another one in there because it was so funny because I thought I had forgotten to buy my non-alcoholic beer to have with the hot dogs the other day. It was just in the wrong drawer, so it's still in there. I looked in the wrong drawer, but anyway, I'll look in the correct drawer this weekend because we're making potato salad again. I don't know if we're going to do the hot dogs again, but we could because they're still in the freezer. But I don't know what to do. Your dad's got 4 days off this weekend. What do we do? We got to figure out stuff to do because that's a lot of time.
I know. Well, I have to, because I have to work on this stuff. I have a lot.
And that's one of the days that he's going to be. So I need to. That may be a day.
Be here.
Well, that's supposed to be a really nice day, I think, if the weather's going to cooperate. That could be a day that he and I could go on a bike ride. Because I know he wants to go with Dominic one day, which Thursday might be the day he goes with Dominic on a bike ride. And
well, you're supposed to do stuff on Thursday too.
Yeah, so.
But I was gonna say, what was it? Tom Holland has a line of non-alcoholic beer that he created.
Oh, okay.
It's called BERO, I think, BERO. I don't know if I pronounced it correct, but because he got sober a couple of years ago. And because he's British, was talking about how he misses like having a beer with his friends and stuff like that, or something like whatever it was. Yeah. And so he created a non-alcoholic beer that the slogan for it is really kind of funny. It's like so to have like a non-alcoholic beer that doesn't feel or that feels like a reward or something. I don't remember what it is, but it was a little bit silly. Yeah. But,
yeah, I think the I think there's so much. I don't know what people's experiences have been with alcohol, and so I don't want to trigger anybody. When I say, I honestly cannot say I've ever had a problem with alcohol. I've never felt like I had to make rules around my alcohol drinking. And so to me, I've never, but my kids, y'all could tell me better than I could. Do y'all think I've had a problem with alcohol?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I would never get in a car and drive. I wouldn't even ride my bike.
You don't even drive sober, so.
That's true. I don't like to drive.
But I mean,
that's
like,
true. I don't like to drive.
Like, like when you don't drink if no one else is there, and.
Right. I never sit at home and drink alone. No. I would not, and I would not go out by myself and drink. No. Now I would go like into solitaire, and if I wanted to write, I would go and get a glass of white wine and sit out at one of the cafes and write. But I wouldn't go, to get, drunk. I would, if I'm going, and that has only been recently that I would do that. I could probably count on one hand the times I've done that. And so I never thought that I had a problem with alcohol. And so, I do hear a lot of people saying I've gotten sober, and I thought, okay, I don't, I guess my reaction should be, okay, good for you.
Yeah.
But right. But again, I haven't seen the need or felt the need in my own life to do that.
Yeah.
And so I always thought, well, I don't have a problem with alcohol, so I don't have to stop.
But it's not always necessarily just about a problem with alcohol. It's also like health reasons and like all that and stuff. So
yeah,
maybe like medications or something.
Yeah. So I don't know. And I think part of it was the generation I grew up with that felt like the only people that had to stop drinking were the people that had a problem with it. I think and also there was, members of my family as I was growing up that were alcoholics that really could not go 10 minutes or more without drinking. Like I, you know, so I've seen that side of it, and I think it's so often I've said to your dad, will you tell me if I get like that? And he's always said that he would, but
And I think especially in my generation, people are drinking less. Like they just don't really drink. And not just my generation, but millennials also.
Yes.
Because millennials and Gen Z are different generations.
Yeah.
Older people don't understand that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, because I like how my generation feels about a bottle of wine. It's just something, I grew up on the lake, and summers were, we partied hard.
But anyway, what I was
I'm
saying.
sorry. I didn't mean, I'm sorry.
Is that a lot of people, so one of the the one podcast that I listen to, because I don't take the time to listen to other podcasts. Oh, you want me to say the title? It's called Reddit on Wiki. I'll spell that correctly for you, because you did pretty good. Anyway, one of the hosts, he just doesn't drink. He's, I think, in his entire, he's 30 or 31. And he just has had in his entire life one sip of wine. He's like, yeah, I just don't want to drink. It's just not.
And I think that that's fair. I mean, because there were years. I mean, when y'all were little, I absolutely did not drink because I was not going to be unable.
Well, obviously, there were times that you couldn't drink.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that's pretty obvious. When I was pregnant, I couldn't drink, and I've had 5 kids, so guess what? That was a lot of time in my life. But also when y'all were young, when y'all were very, very young, I absolutely did not drink. Well, when I was nursing you guys, of course I didn't. But I didn't, it was those times in my life when y'all were little, and I was so busy driving y'all around places. One, I know not to drink and drive, but 2, I never even wanted to drink. I didn't want a glass of wine. I didn't want to have a beer when I was tired at night. And I certainly didn't want to have my scotch in the evening when y'all were little. It just was not something I wanted. But I guess I kind of felt like after y'all were grown up, I felt like I had graduated again. And I could have a glass of wine when I wanted it. I could have a glass of scotch when I wanted it.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like, I'm being told, I'm being reprimanded, don't have any alcohol. And I'm going to be honest with you. If we find out it's something that can't be remedied, I'm going to have a glass of scotch at night when I want it. I'm not going to, but, and of course, when I'm with certain people, there are just certain people that like to drink with me, and I will drink with them if I find out this is something we can do nothing about. So, and I feel like it's going to be my choice.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I think that there are some people though that it becomes a problem, and so they have to leave it. They have to quit it, or they know it's going to kill them. And there are some people who just choose not to because they never, kind of never had any enjoyment from it or anything like that. And that's fine, So don't judge people. Don't judge me just because I want a glass of wine. I do want a glass of wine. I want a glass of scotch. But I'll wait. I will follow doctor's orders. I promise. Okay. So I do want to say one thing. You were saying, my generation doesn't drink that much. I don't drink that much. Your dad seems to think you drink an awful lot.
Yeah.
I did want to bring that up.
He does.
Yeah. So will you finish this bottle today?
I don't know.
I'm just asking,
Maybe.
It's a small bottle, but Sauvignon Blanc, though, has a high alcohol content. Yeah. That's why I like it. I like it.
I drank a beer before I knew we were going to film today.
Sorry.
Because I had already poured it when you texted me.
And I think that's why he thinks, because he probably thinks you have a beer every single day. But you know, he used to have one every single day.
Yeah, I think he thinks because I drink, like, I'll maybe have, like, more than a glass, like, one glass of something a day. And he thinks that I'm an alcoholic.
I don't think he thinks you're an alcoholic. I think he thinks you should try a couple days without it.
Yeah, and I can.
Oh, well, I can attest that I can too. For at least 2 weeks I have.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I haven't even craved it.
I asked if you wanted me to not drink at all.
I know, but I wouldn't do that to you.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that to you. Yeah, because I don't even know how long this is going to last.
Yeah.
You know, and if you want to have a beer or you want to have a glass of wine, you should be able to do that. Yeah. You know, you shouldn't have to, you know, nobody should judge you for that.
I didn't drink more than he did. Like, so, because now he's being very specific. And so, like, if you can't have something, like, he puts it also on everyone else. I think he wants me to also not drink at all.
Well, I don't know, because he will have a beer in the evenings.
Yeah.
And he had the glass of scotch with you last night.
Yeah. No,
you know.
last night, the other night.
Oh, I thought we did last night.
No, last night we split a beer.
Oh, okay. All right.
Again, like, I always ask first if he wants to split it.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, oh, like, usually he'll be like, oh, no, it's okay. And so, like, I think he thinks I'm pushing back on the splitting it, which I'm not. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, do you want to split it? Or, like, or should I have, like, the whole thing? And I think he thinks that means I'm thinking, oh, I want the whole. No. I'm asking if you want to split it because I'm nice.
Well, I'll tell you what. This man offered me chocolate from the Netherlands today, and I did not say no. I ate it right in front of you. I was like, I'm going to eat this piece of chocolate, and I know I'm not supposed to.
I forgot that I have a Ben & Jerry's in the freezer.
Oh, I did see that.
I haven't even opened it yet. I was going to have some earlier.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to go. We really hope you've enjoyed the conversation.
We'll be back next week with a new bottle of wine and a new topic. If you want to join the conversation, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Wine Together Pod. Join our Facebook group, Wine Together Podcast. And if you don't want to miss out on our regular weekly episodes, along with all our bonus content, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, along with liking, subscribing, and commenting on our YouTube Wine Together Podcast.